My sister calls me one day and asks, "Are you my sister?" "Well, yes," I answer her cautiously, but I never like such conversations from afar. She says, "I'm going on vacation. Can you help?" "It depends on what needs to be done," I answer. "Don't worry, I'll take the kids. You don't have to look after them. But the cat? You have to look after him. You don't have to entertain him. Just come once a day, pet him, remove the surprises, and feed him." And her cat was very problematic. He suffered from allergies to almost all food. My sister had a hard time choosing food for him, some kind of elite and very expensive. He says there's nothing complicated. You just have to give him a strictly defined amount, and don't even think about listening to his cries. He can't have anything else. I was glad that she didn't want to leave me the kids, but just the cat, and I agreed. And so I go for a week looking after the cat, and every time he runs to me with all his might, happy, and greets me with wild screams. And one day I came, and he doesn't even come out. I was surprised. I call him. I see him so reluctantly appearing from the room, and his face is so impudent, like, "What are you doing here?" And I tell him, "I came to feed you." I rinse the bowls, go to the cupboard where the food is, look there, and see that the cat is not a fool. He has already understood this life. Half of the pack is empty. I almost had a heart attack. I think, how much did you eat? What will I tell my sister if he dies here from gluttony? I sit on a chair, thinking what to do next, and the cat sits next to me, happy. I call my husband, tell him. My husband says, "We need to take him to the clinic." There was nothing to do. I put the cat in a carrier, took it to the clinic. There they examined him, gave him an injection, and sent him home. They told me to give him only water and observe. Everything was fine for a couple of days. Then this cat started licking himself furiously. He licked and licked without stopping. Bald spots had already appeared on his fur. He walked around spotted like a giraffe after typhus. Anyway, by the time my sister arrived, the cat was half bald. Of course, he didn't look presentable for a purebred cat, but at least he was alive. My sister didn't bother me about it anymore. If they go away somewhere for a long time, they give the cat to their mother-in-law. I always liked geography, but apparently my geography teacher didn't like me. I don't know why, but she always gave me C's. An answer at the blackboard, homework, a report, or a test. Always a negative grade. I remember once I learned a whole paragraph by heart, but even for that I got a C. My mom came to the school, talked to the teacher and the principal, but the situation did not change. Even when I was out of town for a month, and during that time I studied at another school and came back with only A's, she did not put them in the magazine. It went on like that for 4 years. At the end of the 9th grade, we had to choose 2 subjects for the exam. I chose chemistry and geography. I was preparing for the exam. I had time to learn some of the tickets, and some of them I only read. At that time, more than half of the class decided to take geography. And the day came. We came to the room. The teacher let only 6 people into the room, and the rest stayed waiting in the corridor. When one person passed and left the room, the next one would come in, and so on. And everyone else stood and waited in the hallway. More than an hour passed, and no one came out of the classroom. And then the first classmate comes out. He got a 3. Everyone immediately began to ask how and what was it, whether it was difficult or not, and why it took so long. The classmate said that it was very difficult. She was beating everyone, she didn't let them cheat, she didn't give any hints, everything was very strict. I thought at that moment that I had chosen geography for nothing. I always got bad grades. And now I wouldn't pass at all. And now it was my turn. I went into the classroom, took a ticket, and the teacher showed me the table right in front of her. I thought, what a bad luck again. I didn't really want to sit right in front of the teacher. I read the ticket and realized that I didn't have time to learn these questions. I just read them very quickly and didn't remember anything. I'm sitting there and my head is in a panic. I look around. Everyone is diligently writing something. Someone is already writing the second and third pages, but I don't know anything. The teacher noticed that I was spinning around and pulled me back. I took the ticket again and began to read the questions carefully, and I realized that the questions I have in the ticket are not really difficult. Yes, I did not have time to learn them, but I know a lot of things. And we could use atlases, and there you can also find a lot of necessary information. I wrote the answers to all 3 questions in 10 minutes. It was only half a page. I looked around again, surprised that the others were writing so much. The teacher saw my head spinning again and called me to answer. I sat down next to her, my hands were shaking. I started to answer the questions. As I tell her my story, she asks more questions, which I also answer. And then she says, "Well done," and gives me a B. I was so surprised, I thought, how could I get a B? I didn't write that much. She saw my surprise and smiled. She said that compared to the others, at least I had something to say. I was so happy for my B. On that day, only 3 out of 18 passed the exam with a 4. The others all got C's. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new episodes. Share your stories and impressions in the comments, and maybe your story will become a masterpiece in one of our upcoming videos. Let's dive into the world of slimes and stories together.